Oh, to be a fly on the wall in Buckingham Palace when they see Diana the musical, which has hit Netflix ahead of the Broadway premiere. Diana the Musical brings us face to face with one of the 20th century's most compelling figures in this landmark musical event. Now, capturing musicals for the screen isn't necessarily a new thing, but I think since the massive success of Hamilton's recording, other productions are being sought out to capitalize on a possible growing trend. This tells the story of Princess Diana, and it doesn't really pull any punches. There is so much dirty laundry that is unloaded in song for this. And while it certainly doesn't portray Prince Charles in the best of light, Diana doesn't emerge unscathed. The tale also gives her her lumps too. So like I said, this was filmed in advance of the Broadway opening, but with the original Broadway cast. So if you're catching it on Netflix, you're able to see it up to about a month earlier than people that bought tickets to see it on stage. As part of the filming, there was no audience seated to watch, and I think it lost a little bit of energy just because of that. That's not to say that the cast didn't give amazing performances, because they really did sing and perform well. But there's just a buzz that can be felt when an auditorium is filled with people. They swell with emotion as the music and the drama also swell. Now, this is the first time I'd heard any of the songs, and some of them I really enjoyed. Now, I tend to be drawn towards songs that have great melodies or harmonies, which then enable them to get stuck in my head. And there were a handful of songs that did just that, and usually they were led by Gianna Deval playing Diana. Now, her voice is powerful and crisp, which makes it very easy to see why she was chosen as the lead. The other cast of characters executed their songs to varying degrees of goodness for me. I mean, Judy Kaye, who played two roles, including that of the Queen, was kind of a mixed bag for me in her songs. Sometimes I thought she nailed the notes, but there were a few times that felt like she was struggling a bit to either find her notes or keep up with the tune. I mean, these didn't ruin the songs, but they didn't rise to the top of my list either. Now, from a production standpoint, most of this looks great and is filmed in a really captivating way. And I love how close we get to the actors so we can really see the emotion in their eyes. Now, a couple of times the camera movements were odd, almost as if there was supposed to be a switch to another shot, but instead we get the camera sweeping across the stage just to find its next mark. And also, this is a decidedly blue production. Now, not blue as in risque, but blue as in color. The lower half of the lighting is almost always in a blue hue, which in one sense I think helps to draw our eyes up, but it does give the set a less dynamic feel. Now, the stage mechanics were pretty cool. Instead of having a rotating stage that's fairly common in performances, there is a section of the stage that is raised and lowered like an elevator to either bring the actors up from below or to just deposit them down in the middle of a scene, which almost made them disappear instantly and unnoticed. But it can also raise above the level of the stage to then propel the actor up into a higher prominence, and I think each time it was utilized, it looked great and it worked effectively to set the right mood. The production is just shy of 2 hours, which I think is pretty short for a musical. The end did feel like it reached the conclusion a little abruptly, but I'm really not sure what else could or should have been included. And then the musical ends on a very emotional note, but it's not an overly happy one. Now, the musical numbers and the choreography in this are really well crafted. There are more than a couple of times where Diana has a quick change in her wardrobe, and I mean, it's done on stage in the blink of an eye. I was really impressed at how they executed it, and I even rewound one part just to see if I could catch how they did it. Now, I'm pretty sure I know how they managed it, but it's still very impressive. As someone who knew very little about Diana, there was a bunch of info that's unloaded here about her and Charles. Now, I think if you're well versed in the royals, there's probably nothing new, but I enjoyed learning as I was entertained by the music. I really do wonder, though, how this is going to be received by the royal family, because it doesn't pull punches when it comes to Diana, Charles, Camilla, and the Queen. So if you're into musicals, this is a good one to check out. The production is done well, and the actors are captured awesomely by the camera. I don't think every song will be a favorite, and there are a few times where the camera angles and the movements are a bit odd, but on the whole, it's an enjoyable experience and a performance where you get exclusive access before the ticket holders get to attend. There's no sex, nudity, or violence, but there is some profanity. I give Diana the Musical 4 out of 5 couches. So what's a musical that you'd love to see filmed for home viewing? I'd love to know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.